Well, I don't know what that game proves except that I give a lot of credit to our players because it's been a difficult week. There's no question about it. And I said that this young team has had to learn how to deal with the noise and me. And those are two bad things. And to my happiness, they responded. I thought our defense was better. I thought our energy was a lot better. You know, we really played a good first half. I was not pleased with the second half. I thought, 5 turnovers in the first 5 minutes. We looked like we were a one-on-one team the second half. I understand some of it. But remember, too, Indiana was missing Morgan in that second half. Good player. And I love those two guards. They gave us trouble early, especially Johnson. But, we rebounded the ball. We ran. We pushed it. I thought Cassius was good. I thought Miles brought some incredible energy early. We looked a little tired, and maybe it's because we had a week of hell and should be tired. So, in general, I'm just pleased with the way we played, but I'm not I looked at it as this when I walked in the locker room, and I kind of told my guys, we're definitely not as bad as everybody made us out to be, but we're not as good as some will try to make us out to be. So I'm just going to keep grinding, and we're going to grind to get better. We took a step in the right direction, and we'll see what happens next.
Tom, over here. When Matt McQuaid plays like that, with the aggression, it leads you to sometimes wonder why you don't see that from him every night. Were you happy with what you saw, obviously, from him, and why don't you see that from him every night?
Well, I think you could say that about a lot of guys, in the last couple games. I thought Miles was a lot more aggressive tonight. Cassius was a lot more aggressive tonight. I don't know what happened, guys, in that week and a half period. We're young. And now that we won a game, I can say it. We're young, and our inexperience shows at times. And when guys aren't getting guys the ball, or the ball's not moving, then guys like Langford and in all honesty, Matt McQuaid, they get lost in the shuffle a little bit. But I thought a lot of guys played better. Nick Ward, we went to him. But if you say, well, they would have doubled them, so other teams will double them. Well, the reason they couldn't double him, we got a lot of baskets off the break. We got him there before he was doubled. But there's no question when our bench plays better. Tom did some good things defensively. I thought Kenny Goins did some good things defensively, and Xavier and Gav, did some things there. But Miles was more aggressive. Cassius was better in that respect, and we got more than a little out of Josh Jackson. And McQuaid would be a big key if we could get him going and keep Miles as aggressive as he looked to me tonight.
More on Cassius, to have that kind of assist-to-turnover ratio and help the team get in the flow, how key was that tonight and moving forward?
Well, that was a key, but the bigger key for me was he was a lot more solid defensively. And we still had some problems with our bigs at times, but a lot more solid defensively, which then gave him the opportunity to get the ball and do his magic, because when he's in the open court, that's when he's a lot better making decisions. That's how you get 8 assists. And if we defend, we push it, then that's when Cassius Winston's at his best. So I think that as he realizes the better he plays defensively, the more shots they miss, the more rebounds we have a chance to get, and then we get our running game going. I think that makes Cassius a better player.
Tom, in that first half, there was one moment where you got the ball in the nick and they doubled him, and he dribbled out of it, found Cassius for that 3. Was that probably one of the highlights of the night?
It was. It was, only because we had worked on it for 3 straight days, what we're going to do. One time he almost didn't do it because he dribbled the ball too quick. But when he's patient, takes his time, and that was a beautiful pass to Cash. I think Cash hit a 3, if I remember. And but it was the execution of what we wanted to get done that was more impressive than even if he would have missed the shot, to be honest with you. So Nick was a lot better tonight, and I think that was, that too was important for us.
Tom, what was the difference tonight to be able to get out on the break as much as you did? Is that just kind of a mindset thing for you guys to do that?
No, I don't know. I keep saying it, but I guess it's going on deaf ears. If you guard somebody, when you guard somebody and they miss shots, you rebound and run a lot better than if you do it off a make shot. And I think that was the difference in our running game. We ran a couple times after made baskets, but we got the ball going. We got rebounds. We got moving. There was energy. We screwed up some defensive assignments tonight. That's why I'm not really as pleased as I should be. But when you're playing with energy, you make up for it, So somebody screws up and somebody else makes up for it, And that's kind of what I was most excited about.
So you mentioned about Miles' aggressiveness. It looked like he was doing a lot of different things, not just settling outside. It looked like he took the ball off the bounce maybe as good as he has all year.
Bingo. I couldn't agree more. A couple times he forced. What we started to do, that's a shame because we really had talked about it, and probably why I'm disappointed in some things. The ball never swung from side to side, and we're trying to drive it. And that's when we got in trouble on those baselines. If the ball gets moving side to side and you start driving it, that's one thing. If you drive it off the initial, and that was one of the scouting report things we talked about. So, second half he didn't do as good a job. But, what I liked is he took blame for it, and he, settled down, and then he made a couple big-time plays in the second half too. And I tell you, he's a good player, and people should realize how good he is.
Tom, I'm unaware if you knew this or not, but Alex Rodriguez said he wanted to come up to meet you. That's why he came tonight. He was in Detroit at the auto show. Can you talk about it? You like to bring champions around, him talking to the team and what it meant for you, just that, again, he wanted to meet the Hall of Famer.
Yeah. I wanted to meet the Hall of Famer, too. They called a couple weeks ago and talked about it, and that was exciting to me. And then I figured that it would go by the wayside, and then he called, and I think he had watched our game against Maryland, and he wanted to come up and see. He came up here like a college kid. He came to the shoot around. He went over and he visited our facility, the whole thing. He went over and visited football's facility, the whole thing. I really, he had a great message for our team, and and that's kind of, you don't look at a guy that's made that kind of money. That when he talked to the team, I was very, very impressed. The guy was unbelievable. He was humble. He was charismatic, and he enjoyed himself. They kind of said they wished the game would have went to overtime because they were kind of enjoying sitting in the zone. And I told him to hell with you. But other than that, I enjoyed every minute I was with him. Well, his message was, on the work and the things you got to do to be great. And he talked about failing. And it was really funny because I just, out of the clear blue, asked him, I didn't even know if he'd come for sure. And so it wasn't anything he planned. And he told the team that, he's got 2,000 hits and this many home runs and all those things. And he's won a world championship. But what sticks to him the most is he's the 5th greatest player in the world as far as strikeouts. He's in 5th place. Now Reggie Jackson's in 1st, so pretty impressive. But he talked about how many times he failed and how to get back up. And what a great message when we've just come off a disappointing week of basketball. And I thought that was really, really, really the way he said it and the way he approached guys. And if you would have seen our guys, they were glued in. So I appreciated Alex coming. It was great. I'm going to spend a little time with him now, but you hit the nail on the head. Anytime you can be around people that have achieved a level of greatness, he's good friends with Irvin, I guess, and that's always good to have around. And even when he talked to the team at the end, in the locker room, I just reminded him, now this has got to be every day, every day, every day. I asked him a funny question. I said, this guy, when I introduced him to the team, has been through a lot, in the tabloids and everything else. And I said, kind of like we go through, But he said that the greatest thing I told the team was in New York he had to, play for a championship every year. So I said, you got to play for a championship every year. And he said, no, coach, every day. And I thought that was a hell of a statement, every day. You're under pressure there. So maybe our guys aren't under as much pressure as I thought yet. So I think I'm going to crank it up a little bit, to be honest with you.
Mark, I was wondering with the decision of the Board of Trustees today, Coach D'Antonio, he talked about it a little bit. I was wondering if you had any comment on the whole issue.
Yeah, I guess I do. It's been a very difficult week for me. As a father, it's been a difficult week. I listened to the stories of courageous women, and I look at the survivors who spoke, and in all honesty, Nassar permanently damaged and changed the lives of so many of those people. I feel like it's changed the life of all of us at Michigan State in some way, shape, or form. As a father, that's difficult to even fathom, but I hope that the right person was convicted, and I have to say, though, that I have the utmost faith and respect for the leadership of our president, too, at Michigan State. And it's a woman who dedicated over 40 years, and I've been here 33 with her. And I think I know what she stands for. And so I hope and pray that those survivors continue to grow in their life. I hope we do everything we can to make sure that this will never happen ever again, not only at this institution, but any institution, to be honest with you. But it's been a lot of sad days for me in a lot of ways, and I'm going to try to do everything I can to help the survivors and to help us grow from this and learn from it and move forward. So that's about all I have to say, yeah.
Just on that, for those that see a crisis at the university and want to change the leadership, as one of the faces of the school, what would kind of be your response to that?
When I talk to you guys about basketball, it's really easy. I don't give a damn if you agree with me or not. But, you have to understand that there's nothing I can say that is going to be right now, and there's nothing that's going to make anybody right. I'll just stick by what I said. The survivors are the most courageous people I can't even imagine. I hate when I'm put in a position when I can almost start saying, I know what you're going through, because I have no clue what they're going through and never will, and I hope I never find out. But I also, I've just got to say that that is a situation that I think is being dealt with and has been dealt with. And there is no way I could waver on the support for my administration or my president, knowing the 35 years I've spent here, what she has done for this university, what she stood for. Not only athletics is a small part for women's groups, for different groups. I think she's been a champion. So I hope and pray that survivors get through this. But I also hope that we take a serious look at what we're doing.
Tom, a basketball question.
Love it.
You've been known to get a little upset when your team's not playing well, losing 2 out of 3, then going overtime with Rutgers. What was your mood like heading into this game against Indiana?
I absolutely love this team. I don't love what they do all the time, but I love this team. Sometimes I wish I didn't like them as much because, it makes it harder to get on them. But my assistant Mike Garland and I have been here together 90% of the time, and you know what we figured out is, contrary to what some people think, we know how to coach, and we know what to do, and we know what it takes. And you don't get old on that. You don't get, doesn't pass you by. You sometimes make adjustments because of the crazy world we live in. And what I went into this thing with is more vigor and more, I warned every guy, you're going to be held accountable at the nth degree. There'll be no happy mediums if you can't do this and that. I mean, we're 20-some ahead, and Miles Bridges got his butt chewed on those 3 turnovers in a row. And so, you know, not to be mean to you, I don't care what you write, I don't care what you say anymore. I don't like what went on last week. I don't like how people, you know, jumped in and out of the bandwagon. And whoever does jump out, you're going to miss out. Whoever jumps in, stays in, I think you're in for a pretty good ride. It's not going to be perfect. There's going to be some bumps in the road yet. But my mentality on this is we better play with an energy level that far supersedes the one that we played with. And I say that, and I think with this, when you go through something like this, you know, what do we go through? We lost 2 games to ranked teams, really. What you learn is that you learn a little bit about your team, and, you know, words of soft, words of this and that. You know, I think in all honesty, words of youth, words of inexperience, words of not knowing how to handle things that are thrown at you. It's okay. It's okay. We just live in a world that's a little crazier. But I've learned a lot. I'm a better coach today, so where some people think it passed me by, I'm better today than I was. Whether that's good enough, that's up for a lot of people's decision to make. But I'm a lot better going through this and figuring out that the way I've done it my whole life is the right way. And that's not changing. Not in the near future, not in the distant future.
Tom, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the next, I guess, 11 games. 7 of them are on the road. I mean, this is something that last year's team struggled with and still trying to feel its way around. How do you get these guys to bring this on the road?
You know, I don't know. I'm going to find out Monday night, but, you know, a lot of other people haven't been doing so good on the road either. So it's not like this is a Michigan State thing. This is a problem, you know, and bizarre schedule. You've never seen anything like that, have you, where 7 of the last 11 are on the road? But our job is to now get better every day so we can handle the road. You know, what I liked about tonight, they shot 33%, 30 from the 3. We got rebounded by 18. That's all travel worthy. You know, that goes everywhere. And I'm going to try my hardest to keep pushing that to these guys morning, noon, and night. Because, boy, when we're moving the ball, when we're running, it's a fun team to watch. And we have defended well 99% of the games. You know, maybe Ohio State shot 52%. I don't know if anybody shot over 43. And so we did more good than bad. I just don't think we handled the stardom. And, you know, when you say that, it can be in 2 ways. You can be cocky and arrogant and a jerk, or you can just be immature and not realizing that everybody's shooting for you and there's pressure on and that everybody's talking about you. And so, you know, we've had some talks with our kids about that. We've had some talks with the social media and all the things all the noise that's out there. And I think we've really grown as a team. We've really grown together. I kind of like that.
Tom, I wonder if you could talk about Jaren a little bit. 3 blocks tonight, I think. And in doing so, he set the freshman record for most blocks in a season. Just, you know, the growth that you've seen from him defensively, I think he passed Deonta Davis. Is there any way to compare those 2 guys?
Well, you can compare them. You know, they're different. You know, Deonta was a guy more around the basket. Jaren's a guy that can do both. He can shoot threes and, you know, handle the ball a little bit better. But Deonta had some strengths too. But blocking shots, I mean, he's done this with a lot of games left. And I think the biggest thing for Jaren now, I thought when he got tired, I thought, you know, it's hard to move that big, long body up and down, you know. And you talk about changing things and, you know, what that does. I mean, a guy come in here and had to learn to play with 20 more pounds on his body. And that takes some time just to learn how to do that, you know. But he's so exciting to watch. He's so exciting to, you know, he just can do some things so effortlessly. I thought it was a pretty physical game, and it's still not his strongest suit. He's not afraid of it. He just doesn't know how to use his body yet because it's a new body, you know. And so I didn't realize he passed it tonight, but that's a great credit to him. Probably great coaching. I'm sure I taught him how to block shots. And the funny thing is, never taught him one thing about it. So that's all homegrown. That's all him. One more.
Coach, Miles started out, hit his first 5 shots, and led the team 22 points today. How did he respond to kind of your push to get a little bit more out of him?
He responded great. He had a couple great practices, but then he decided to defer and start throwing balls all over, and instead of just shooting them. I don't know if I'd ever say Miles took a selfish shot. You know, he maybe takes a bad shot here and there, but a selfish shot, I don't think he's got it in him. So I just hope he keeps shooting. You know, I really do. I think he's getting more confident. He had an unbelievable shoot around today. But I thought yesterday's practice, the best practice he's had in a long, long time. What does that mean? He was just more aggressive. He was hitting all his shots. He was hitting some shots in the lane, pulling up off 2 feet, you know, things that I think he can do because he's so explosive. Yet he still exploded to the rim. I mean, he showed a variety of his stuff tonight, you know, and the turnovers were just a little sloppy. And that's the only thing that really bothered me about it. And I thought his defense was better too. So rebounding was better. You know, one thing Indiana does an unbelievable job at, I think the best team we've played so far, is offensive rebounding. And I thought we cut them out pretty good for them to miss as many shots they did and still not get a ton of offensive rebounds. This team does a great job of it. And I thought Nick did better. I thought Miles did a lot better. I thought Jaron. And we brought Kenny and Gavin and X in there, and everybody did a decent job of that. And that was a big difference in the game. All right. Thank you.